Hi everybody, it's Margaret, and today I'm going to talk about how I got to meet Micheal Singer, the author of The Surrender Experiment, also really well known for The Untethered Soul, and then his new book that just came out called Living Untethered. When it first came out over 10 years ago, I bought the book. People were talking about it in the New Age community, and I couldn't even read the first couple of chapters. It went up on a bookshelf, and recently my husband read it this fall, and I said, "Hey, I have that book in my bookshelf," and I was getting ready to drive to Florida from Michigan. He says that would be a really great book to read. So I thought I found it on YouTube, like, books on tape, but I didn't. And they were his workshops. So I started to listen to his workshops that were free on YouTube. There was like 12 sessions. And for like a couple days, I was just listening to Micheal Singer. And I loved his voice. I loved how he was so funny and so real. And I was like, wow, I got to really get that book back and to read it. And I was just really on this Micheal Singer, this awakening of this untethered soul and what life could be like living like that. So I really enjoyed it. I belong to a group, a wonderful meditation group here in Southwest Florida. And I got home here in Florida probably on a Sunday, and on Tuesday they were all meeting for dinner. So I was really excited to see everyone. Hasn't seen everybody in a long time. And the first conversation was, "Oh my God, I just spent the weekend with Micheal Singer." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I just spent the weekend with Micheal Singer, but in my car and on YouTube. And she was like, "No, he actually has, his compound is actually here in Gainesville, Florida, which is like 5 hours away from here." And I'm like, "What?" And I was just like, "Okay, I'm on this wave, and I just got to keep going." So she was like, "Oh yeah, he explains it all in The Surrender Experiment," which is a book I've never read. I hardly even read the first one. She's like, "You have to read that. Just make sure that's like the first one you read." So that following weekend, that was a Tuesday, that Friday, I was going to Orlando to work. And I Googled like Orlando to Gainesville, and it was literally less than 2 hours. So I knew that after my little gig was over, I was going to Gainesville, hell or high water, to meet this man and see what he created, even though I never read The Surrender Experiment. So I went there, and if you go on his website, every night he has different classes or workshops. There's chanting, there's yoga, and he speaks, I think, 3 times a week. And I went on a Monday night. So I did yoga, I did like an hour of chanting, and then he just comes out and he starts to sing. Everyone as a community starts singing, and I was just like, so anyway, so I'll tell you about more of my story. So I got there, and I was really tired from the weekend that I worked, but I got into a hotel, and I knew that I wanted to make the 6 o'clock yoga class. So I went to the yoga class, and it's called the Temple of the Universe. The Temple of the Universe is outside Gainesville, Florida, and it's on hundreds of acreage that he accumulated over 20 years or whatever. He built this Temple of the Universe by hand. It used to be his home. And there's different, like I said, classes and workshops that happen every day of the week. So I knew that there was a yoga class and a meditation, and I knew Micheal Singer was going to speak that Monday. That's why I went. So I did the yoga. We sat in silence for like an hour and meditated. And then they get the room all ready for him, and they put out a keyboard, and he literally comes in the room quietly and just starts playing. And it really reminded me of the kids' school that he went to. And the teacher of my kids' school studied with Ram Dass, and I found out through the Surrender Experiment that he also studied with Ram Dass. So it was a very, very familiar, very comfortable, where you begin to sing and chant, and then like a half an hour later, like the walls are just pulsing because everyone is singing. and you create like this beautiful vortex of people, and you just become one, and it's very, very beautiful. So he does a tremendous job at doing that. And then all of a sudden, he just starts talking, and he's talking from segments of his book, segments of his life. And it's absolutely, he just goes on straight for like an hour and a half. And all these light bulbs were going on in my head. And I'm just like, I just got to study this. I need to learn how to live like this. I want to learn like this. What would my life look like if I surrendered to this capacity? Where basically, after I did read the Surrender Experiment, I mean, he was a kid that just really wanted to experiment with meditation. He just wanted to meditate in the middle of the woods and really come to know that voice in your head. And so he just began meditating and just exploring that, and reading about it, and just studying it. And it just brought him opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. And he just all he wanted to do was meditate twice a day, which he did through his whole life. And he's still meditating like that. But he just surrendered to what life was in front of him. So he was meditating, he built a house, he started studying with these masters. He started building and then created a construction company, and he bought a computer and started a software company, and it ended up being what we know as WebMD. I mean, it's amazing, his life in this book and the challenges, but he just continued to stay present and be the observer of his life and to surrender to whatever was next. And it was amazing. So I started with sticky notes, like on my bulletin board, like just taking steps. And when I do follow that, like I just get, like if I get an intuition or a hit and I just allow it to, I just follow through to the next one, it's the next one. It's really, really fun. And I really was practicing that. And I need to get back to that because it's a practice where you have to do it every single day. So I'm glad I'm making this video because I'm going to reread this. It's only been a couple months, but this book is absolutely one of my absolutely top 10 books that I've ever read in my life. This one, again, it's still very hard, and Living Untethered, as you can see, I just started that one. It was fantastic experience. I recommend it to anyone that is open to meeting him. And at the very end of his hour and a half talk, he opened it up to 3 questions that the audience could take. There was a lot of students from the University of Florida there, and people from all around the country, from Utah, Oklahoma, people that have read about him and know about his Temple of the Universe and just want to meet him because of his books have changed their life so much. So the 3 questions, by this point, it's already like 10:30 at night. I'm a little exhausted, tapped out. But I do remember the last question, and it was a student. He was a young man, and he was really in his head about a diet. Like, he really wanted to practice veganism because that was the right thing to do, but he feels guilty when he eats meat, and it's just this battle he has within himself. And Micheal Singer literally looked at him and he says, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you eat. Why should you care what you eat? Like, why don't you just be in the moment? And if you want the freaking burger, eat the burger. And if you want to be a vegan, be a vegan. But in this moment, be a vegan. And stop like beating yourself up over and over again, because it doesn't matter what the fuck your diet is. You're going to kill yourself with your freaking thoughts, basically. So anyways, the way he said it, like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. And it's like the only thing that you should really, what I was taking away is that you should just care about what is this present moment and what is in front of you. And the rest of the fucking bullshit can just like do it spinning out of control, because I don't care about it. I don't care. And I just have to really care about myself and my reality and what I'm observing and what I want to change, and really surrender into the next step that's showing me. And what would life look like if we really want to live like that? So I still am kind of, on the other side where Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about being the creator of your future, where you're creating the feeling, and maybe just create the feeling and let it go and just like surrender to what's next. And you might want the feeling of, a new house or a new environment, and it really looks like a new job or something. It could be as easy as that. So, and just surrender into that, whatever that is. So I am really excited. I did get to visit him a second time after I was completely fried, though, from the first time when I went on that Monday. I had to drive back to the hotel, and it's like literally in this forest area of Florida, which, there is actually trees here and big ones up in the northern Florida part. And it was dirt roads back there. It's pitch black. It's a new moon. There's just no light. And I just really wanted to get back to the hotel, and I got lost. I knew I wasn't really far away because I could see on my Google map. I still had Google Map. And, I knew that I wasn't too far away from the main road that I wanted to get to, but I ended up like on a 2-track, which it was just like, oh, Jesus, I really don't want to be doing this right now. So I saw a house, and I was just going to turn around there. They had the lights on, and I ended up turning there, and the man was coming out of his driveway, and it wasn't the best area. But at this point I was like literally pissed, like, dude, I don't got time for this right now. He wanted like chit chat in the middle of nowhere, and there was just no way that I was just going to have that. So I just came back from Micheal Singer, and I'm lit and I'm fried, and I just basically said, you know what, thanks but no thanks, I gotta go. So I will just find my way. So he's like, just keep following me, just keep following me. And I'm like, whatever, dude. So I'm just gonna go. So he started going, and I started following him because that was the only way I knew how to get the hell out of there. And I could see from my map that I was that I was getting toward the road. And by then I got to the hotel. I was completely fried, and I'm like, what the hell was that? So I knew that I just wasn't going to be worried about it right now, but I'll worry about it tomorrow and try to figure that out. So the next morning I went and I started journaling on it. And it was basically, Jesus always says, follow me, or any enlightened, just follow the breadcrumbs, just follow what's in front of you. And that was the message that I got from that beautiful angel that met me in the middle of the night, that really wanted to chit chat, but really the message was way bigger. Just follow what's in front of you, and you will find your way. And it's going to be cloudy and murky, but you just got to keep trusting what's in front of you. And that's what this is like, how to get there, how to do that, untether yourself from all the shit in order just to follow what's right in front of you and trust the surrendering process. So it was pretty magical. I did go again with my family on a Sunday service at the Temple of the Universe, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was a little bit more crowded, people again from all around the country that really have been inspired by his work. And it was just really nice to meet other people. And at the very end, it's very sweet. He makes this beautiful circle in this beautiful field outside, and he serves everyone tea in this huge circle. There must have been 50 of us, and he just pours tea to everybody. And there's little sweets there, and he's selling all of his books. And I actually got to have one signed and just thank him for all of his work and how much he means to me. And it was just beautiful. We got to walk the beautiful land that he's created, and it's very beautiful. It's very quiet and serene, and there's something very magical that happens in that place. So thank you for listening, and about my story and my journey to Micheal Singer. I'm still reading the last one, Living Untethered, Beyond the Human Predicament. This is his latest book, but to my go-to, though, is absolutely this one. It's about his life, and it reads more of like a story, and that's what I loved most about it. So I wish you the best on this beautiful journey called life, and until next time, I love you guys. Take care. Mwah.